Hold your nose and say cheese. Stankosaurus rex has become a big green selfie machine, and that's part of the point. I'm Tara Lynn Wagner at the Huntington Library, Art Museum, and Botanical Gardens, where the corpse flower craze is in full bloom.
That's the pollen right there.
Talk about being busy as a bee. These days, Brandon Tam rarely has a chance to catch his breath.
But very, very exciting. Absolutely.
He's got a very small window, figuratively and literally, in which to accomplish a big job. Like super big. Record-breaking big.
Our last major record here at the Huntington was 81 inches. This one is actually 98.5 inches, so it's humongous.
He's talking about the king of stink, the blooming behemoth, the biggest corpse flower the Huntington has ever seen. Although it has a scientific name,
Amorphophallus titanum.
This big bloom has earned itself the title of Stankosaurus rex.
A fitting name for such a gigantic inflorescence.
And in case you're wondering, yes, size does matter.
Yeah, so the bigger it is, the more pungent the odor is.
Rex bloomed on Monday night, starting a biological clock that Brandon is now racing against. He had 24 hours to do the work of many pollinators, carefully distributing pollen collected at another garden directly onto the female flowers inside the spathe. After that, it's time for collection.
We actually come in every few hours to collect the pollen that starts to come out of the flower.
Pollen he'll be able to share with other institutions around the country to increase genetic diversity. With only about 1,000 of these pungent plants left in the wild, he knows the future of the species is in and on his hands.
We're doing our best to really maximize the amount of conservation that we can do for this plant across the world to ensure that if this actually disappears in the wild, we have a copy of this in our botanical garden.
Conservation is one aspect of Brandon's job. Research is another.
We want to do some sequencing. We want to understand what the lineage is behind each clone that we have of these plants in our gardens.
And he has a bunch, 43 in fact, from barely buds
Yeah, isn't that cool?
to ones in the leaf stage.
This entire structure is one entire leaf. It's not a tree, but one single leaf.
It's a real attention getter, which is why old Rex here is the perfect poster plant. Visitors lined up all day Wednesday to get a whiff and a selfie, including Rosa Contreras.
So do you smell anything?
Who came all the way from Orange County.
Wow, that's gorgeous. That's so pretty.
But for her, this is more than a hashtag. Gardening is her happy place.
Growing something that you can eat, that you can look at, that you can breathe in, to me it's just fascinating.
It's Brandon's happy place too, and has been since he was 7 and grew his first orchid. It's a passion he's cultivated into a career as the Huntington's Orchids Collection Specialist.
And I think that's truly something of an American dream, is doing something that you really love and enjoy doing.
As he looks over the vine-like line waiting to enter the conservatory, he hopes these visitors walk away with more than just a passing curiosity.
There are many other plants out there that are just not as sexy, they're not as stinky, they're not as large, but that need saving as well.
A busy bee sowing the seeds he hopes will become a budding interest in our planet's botanical well-being.
Lifesaver.